Filipina dan dilanjutkan dengan doa secara Islam dan Kristen.
Indonesia tanah air, di sanalah aku berdiri dari Indonesia kebangsaan, bangsa yang tanah air, marilah kita bersatu, Indonesia bersatu. Hiduplah anakku, hiduplah bangsaku, rakyatku semuanya. Bangunlah jiwanya, bangunlah badannya, untuk Indonesia Raya. Indonesia merdeka, tanahku negeriku yang ku cinta. Indonesia Raya, merdeka, merdeka, hiduplah Indonesia Raya. Indonesia Raya, merdeka, merdeka, tanahku negeriku yang ku cinta. Indonesia Raya, merdeka, merdeka, hiduplah Indonesia.
Doa sebelum belajar. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi zidni ilman warzuqni fahma. Artinya, ya Allah, tambahkanlah aku ilmu dan berikanlah aku rizki akan kepahaman.
Free
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You may take your seats. And now, to officially open this webinar today, let us hear the opening remarks from the Education and Culture Attaché, Dr. Lily Nurlaili.
Thank you, Mbak Manet. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everybody. Magandang umaga, sa inyong lahat. Selamat pagi semuanya. My Honorable Dr. Margarita Consolation Ballesteros from Department of Education, Director of International Linkage. Yang saya hormati Bapak Alfa Amir Rahman dari Muhammadiyah, dari Dikdasmen, Sekjen. Yang saya hormati Bapak My Honorable Dr. Marco Meduranda from Philippines. Yang saya hormati Bapak Nur dari Muhammadiyah, SMA 1 Muhammadiyah Jogja. And then all of the participants until now is 150. It's too big, too much, because this theme is very interesting for them. The participant is from teacher from Philippines and then teacher from Indonesia, especially teacher from Muhammadiyah. Thank you very much. This is the second time for me for Attaché Education and Culture Indonesian Embassy in Manila making this webinar collaboration with Muhammadiyah, Dikdasmen Muhammadiyah. And then we are making a lot of webinar again for next week until next month together with Dikdasmen Muhammadiyah. And I hope this webinar is useful not for teacher in Muhammadiyah or Indonesian school, but useful for Philippine school. And I hope this webinar can implementation to your class and your school, because the theme is about digital classroom. Right now we are still using digital because for the offline maybe it's very difficult right now. Thank you very much. Terima kasih. Dengan mengucapkan Bismillahirrohmanirrohim, webinar internasional tentang digital classroom merupakan webinar series kedua antara Muhammadiyah dengan kantor Adikbud Filipina saya buka. Bismillahirrohmanirrohim. Maraming salamat. Terima kasih.
Thank you so much, Ibu Lily Nurlaili, for the opening remarks. And now today, our webinar with the theme COVID-19 Beyond the Pandemic Issue, Moving Up from Traditional to Digital Classroom is officially open or start. Now, to begin with, we have a keynote speaker. For our keynote speaker today, she was the curriculum maker and developer from the Ministry of Education and Culture for more than 30 years. And now she is appointed as the Education and Culture Attaché of the Embassy of Republic of Indonesia, Dr. Lily Nurlaili. To Dr. Lily Nurlaili, you may start your presentation.
Thank you, Mbak Manet. Terima kasih. Today, my keynote speaker is about learning innovation through digital classroom. This is, I'm sorry. This is the data, the education in Indonesia. Kindergarten is around 8 million, basic education is around 40 million, and senior education 10 million, and higher education 6.2 million. All of the education, all of the school, all of the teacher right now, they have data from Ministry of Education, because we are still using online teaching and learning. There are several views that lead to the definition of digital using e-learning, including e-learning is the convergence between learning and the internet. E-learning uses strengths and work relationship, especially it can happen deep. E-learning is the use of technology workbound to design, deliver, choosing, organizing, and learning. E-learning is learning that can occur in the internet. E-learning is dynamic, operates in real time, collaborative, individual, and comprehensive. E-learning is sending something through electronic media, including internet, intranet, and etc. E-learning is the whole variety internet and web technology to create, transmit, and facilitate e-learning. E-learning uses strengths and work relationship for learning anywhere and anytime. In the end, electronic learning can be defined as an effort to connect learner, student with learning sources, database, expert, teacher, or library, who physically apart or even far apart. Interactivity in the relationship can be done directly, synchronous, or indirectly, asynchronous. The internet will indeed be used in learning setting at school because it has distinctive characteristics. Namely, first, as an interpersonal medium as well as media that enable one-to-one and one-to-many communication. Second, has an interactive nature. Third, and allows communication synchronous or delayed asynchronous. So that it allows the implementation of the three types of communication dialogue, which is a prerequisite for the implementation of teaching and learning process. Several things that need proper attention and handling so that the implementation of the use of the internet for learning can be successful. Namely is first environmental factor, which include education providers and the community. Student or learner include age, background, culture, language, acquisition, and various learning styles. Third, the teacher or educator include background, age, teaching style, and experience and personalities. Technological factors include computer, software, network connection to the internet, and the various capabilities required relating to the application of the internet and school environment. First is institution. The most basic thing in the application of the internet in school are motivation, readiness, and seriousness of the institution, which is manifested by the comprehensive policy, including policies for changing teaching method, policies regarding management and procedure, policies and internet access, and so on. Because all of that is the main key to successful utilization of the internet for learning in the school environment. Public, the closest environment that greatly affects students in using the internet are peers or peer group. This environmental influence even bigger than the family circle as the result get. Research Min Harjito 2001, which show that from friends, they first learn the internet, teach the internet more deeply, and get encouragement to use the internet. It means is friend is very important thing. Number three is teachers. Teachers need to be given an understanding of the various benefits, including advantage and disadvantage of using the internet for learning. So they have motivation and commitment are high enough. Teacher, either later we have act as developer and user as well, which is projected as an internet-based learning system manager, must equip it with awareness, insight, knowledge, and skill about internet. Teachers who will be involved in the development and use the internet for learning should have experience and teaching ability enough. The number of teachers who will be involved in the development and use of the internet for learning, it should be tailored to the needs and done step by step. Teachers must have a commitment and seriousness in handling development and the use of the internet for learning. Maintain the teaching style of each teacher because it will be mirrored in the way they learn later in the learning system with the internet. And then students, learning system by utilizing the internet will be developed, should pay attention to differences in the characteristic and target segment of student. Or in other words, it is necessary to develop a system learning that best fit to target segment of the student being fostered. And 5, technology. Whether communication in the context of learning will be carried out online, offline, or a combination of online and offline. How fast is the required access? The bandwidth of the relationship is determined what will be distributed: text, graphic, audio, or video. Connection from the network to the student. The choice, of course, according to the type of communication to be carried out, the material to be distributed, and of course, the fund available. Terima kasih, maraming selamat berwebinar. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih, Mbak Manet.
Thank you so much, Ibu Lily. Terima kasih, Ibu, for your presentation. And now we will proceed to our guest speakers. For today, we have 4 guest speakers. For the first speaker, allow me to read a little background of our first speaker. He is Master of Philosophy in Education from the School of Policy and Practice from University of Sydney, Australia. And he earned his doctorate of Philosophy and Social Science from the Amsterdam for Social Science Research. And as of now, he's been appointed as the Director of Siameo Siamolek from January 2019 and up to present. And also he is the Secretary from the Primary and Secondary Education Council of Central Board of Muhammadiyah. The first speaker for today we have here, Mr. Raden Alfa Amirahman. To Mr. Alfa, you may start your presentation.
Okay, thank you very much for the time and for nicely introducing me, Ms. Moderator. Good morning, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me start sharing my presentation. Can you see this?
Yes, sir.
Second. Oh. Okay. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, honorable speakers, and also Ibu Lily, thank you very much for allowing me to be with you this morning. This is a very nice morning. So today we are going to share our best practices, which is about the challenges of learning from home during this pandemic. We have 3 segments or 3 landscapes that we would like to elaborate later with these changes. Yeah, first is technology, second is sociocultural, and third is environment. With the technological disruption, this is happening in all sectors. We can see the implementation of automatization, artificial intelligence, and big data, the use of connectivity 5G. This makes possible for technologies to be connected with each other, like automatic vehicle, drones, etc., 3D printing, smart wearables, augmented and virtual reality. And we also see the changes in demography, profile of economy and world population. We are witnessing the increase of life and work expectancy. We are also witnessing the growth of migration, cultural diversity, and middle class, the increase of the emergence of consumer awareness toward ethics, privacy, and health. And the environment, we can see also the increasing demand for energy and water and decreasing natural resources. These are the changes, the global changes that we are witnessing right now. However, the COVID-19 accelerated the changes. We can see now maybe about 1.5 billion students are now staying at home. They cannot go to school. They have to stay at home, to avoid the spread of the coronavirus. And because of this, the changes that I've just mentioned before, the digitalization, it is accelerated. So the COVID-19 accelerated these changes. In education, students learn from home, and schools, particularly private schools, they suffer from financial constraints. I joined last webinar with Adikbud also, and then I learned also the experiences from schools in the Philippines, that many of them, particularly private schools, suffer for financial constraints. And this is also happening in Indonesia. The same thing also is happening to private schools in Indonesia. And work accelerated digital access for all industries, or more, and then more demand for digital skills. And then the policy to deal with this COVID-19 in Indonesia, first, the priority is health and safety of students and teachers. This is the prime, this is the most important priority, is that people are still healthy and they are safe. So in order to this to be achieved, then students and teachers need to stay at home. It is almost impossible to have a face-to-face class when the COVID-19 is still spreading like now. And then the government also focuses on three aspects: literacy, numeracy, and character educations. So these are the priorities that the government have been trying to promote, during these emergency situations. And there is no need to complete full curriculum. And there should be also remedial for left behind students, because of the slowness of the delivery of teaching, because due to this emergency situation, maybe students, there is a possibility that the students are left behind. So there should be remedial for them, and relaxation for teacher teaching hour. And there's also a relaxation of the curriculum. So teachers don't need to really complete full curriculum, So there are only three aspects that teachers need to pay attention: literacy, numeracy, and character education. So what are the current driving factors of transformation in education right now? First, two factors. First is Industrial Revolution 4.0. Second is COVID-19. So these two factors are intertwined. They are affecting each other, and they are giving a very big influence to education. The Industrial Revolution 4.0, I don't need to explain. This has been explained many times, and you can see this in everyday life. Internet revolution also. We are now really transforming. We have cloud technology, we have Internet of Things, intelligent machines that really understand you, big data. This should be, if we combine them together, then this become Industry 4.0 factory, I should say so. And since students are now staying at home, they learn at home, they are implementing distance learning. So, but this is not a distance learning in a normal situation. This is a distance learning in an emergency situations where students, schools, teachers are not really well prepared for this. But however, in open and distance learning, we can see the evolution, how it's been changing from time to time. starting in 1880. First generation distance education, Open University. It was done by correspondence only. And then go to mainstream higher education in 1990 when internet was coming, yeah. And then in 2000 beyond, yeah, there's an experiment of blended online learning, autonomous self-directed learning, yeah, and synchronous online learning. So they try to combine online and offline education with blended online learning, and then MOOC or MOOC, yeah. So this is the evolution of distance learning, and we should understand this because we are one way or another we are now implementing distance education, even though it is in an emergency situation. So we have to understand that distance education is not only based it's not only internet based, yeah. It can also be module based, yeah. So learning from home, yeah, is not only internet based. I think I should emphasize that because people sometimes misunderstood that we don't have internet connections, we don't have these facilities, but distance educations, or learning from home, it's not only about an online learning. It can be mixed. It can be also module based. So this is a distance learning mode, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, it is divided into two: online and offline. Yeah, online is using learning management system, and offline is using module. We should combine these modes so that then try to adjust it to the situation of the students and teachers and the availability of facilities of the schools. This is students' learning style. Yeah, before we have this. In Indonesia, it is called sabak. Yeah, I remember when I was very young in my grandmother's house. My grandmother gave me this, to write, to make a calculation of mathematics. But now we also have a digital sabak here. Yeah, we have a tablet right here. So this is the changing the evolution. So how does COVID-19 pandemic change education landscape in Indonesia? At the school level, there are many major changes. The cancellation of national exams, final exam for junior class would be replaced by online tests, home assignments, the use of TV edukasi. We're using also television, national televisions, and Rumah Belajar, and many other platforms that have been used and promoted by the government for people or schools to use. That is in school level. And higher education level, we are maximizing the use of online learning system program for higher education, 70% remote learning, and 30% meeting for practices and practicum with health protocol, less density, less contact, no crowd, and 3 semester of campus learning. This is the policy of independent campus or Campus Merdeka. So the pedagogical practice in the normal is less contact, to create excellent student with characters through collaborative and competitive academic culture. We have new mindset, online learning, off-campus learning, lecturers as agent of change. Yeah, if this is at the higher education level, and also new attitude and behavior. Yeah, we have a soft skill, leadership, nationalism, and new way of doing things, entrepreneurship, creativity, innovativeness, and learning how to learn, lifelong learning. So these are the pedagogical patterns in the normal less context with 3 things, new mindset, new attitude, behavior, and new way of doing things. So adapting learning practices, before, from school to home, teaching to learning. We can see the difference when it is a conventional class, students are gathering with teacher explaining, and then when it is learning from home, you have to stay really focused, because a lot of things going on at home. You can see the brother is studying very seriously, but his sister is applying handstand behind him. So this can be distracted. So people need more focus and serious attention when learning at home. And this is the current educational ecosystem, ladies and gentlemen. Students, with computer in front of him or her. Yeah, she is studying, and we have facilities. He's also communicating with lecturers and experts, and supported by the parents. Yeah, and then also learning resources, learning outcomes, learning experience, learning resources, and then interacting also with other students. This can also happen, when applying a distance education, particularly doing with the use of technology. So the interaction is still happening. Character building also is expected also to still happen. Yeah. So learning environment, real versus virtual. Yeah, I think I already explained this before. Yeah, this is the current ecosystem now. Yeah, real versus virtual, and learning through media. This is the flow of communication in teachers and students via media. Yeah. And how about Muhammadiyah? Muhammadiyah vision of education is the development of Muhammadiyah's primary and secondary education functions, include schools, madrasah, and Islamic boarding schools based on Al-Islam Kemuhammadiyahan, holistic, integrative, well-managed, competitive, and high quality. This is the 47 Muhammadiyah Congress in 2015. So this is a challenge. This was composed, of course, in a way, before COVID-19, but we still have to adhere to this. This includes holistic, integrative, of education. So not only cognitive but also psychomotoric, and also character educations. They are all in one unity of Muhammadiyah vision of education, and this has to be answered, has to be adhered, even though we are now in an emergency situation. So this is a challenge for Muhammadiyah schools. Yeah. So this is Muhammadiyah response. Yeah, I apologize. I cannot change this because this is in JPEG. Yeah, but this is in Bahasa Indonesia. But we have a total about 292 billion. We already gathered these donations, for to help ease the impact of COVID-19 among Muhammadiyah institutions, not only schools but also hospitals. Yeah. This is also the response of primary and secondary education councils. We are introducing a digital platform, and this is the number of students that are using it, number of registrations. This is also not going really smoothly, because of the facilities, of the students and schools, very much vary. So we are still improving this, and we also give survey among Muhammadiyah schools. Yeah, most of them they admit that they are applying 81%. They are applying online learning. Yeah, but what kind of online learning? Of course, it has to be in detail. Yeah, let's see later. Yeah, so most of them are striving to do to implement internet-based distance education during this emergency situation. Most of the schools, 81%. And this is what happened. Yeah, they admit that most of the schools are using online learning, but mostly use application is WhatsApp. Yeah, Google Classroom only 17%. WhatsApp only 73%. This is the mostly used application. Zoom only 3%. Google Form only 3%. Yeah, so it doesn't guarantee that the interactions, the ideal concept of distance education, where interactions between students and teachers is still happening. I don't think this is happening in this case because most of the teachers are using WhatsApp. So when I interviewed and then talked with them, they use WhatsApp to give a message, to give instructions to students, to do certain tasks, to read certain pages, to do certain tasks. So in that case, it was a little bit too much. Yeah, teachers give lots of assignments through WhatsApp, and then students feel this is a burden. Yeah, so they are not really happy at the beginning. But as the time goes by, teachers understand, what's going on, and they learn a lot through webinars like this. How to make a lively video conference, good interactions among students, how to use Google Classroom, how to use Zoom, etc. Then I think it's now improving. But this survey was conducted at the start of the pandemic, where people really panic and they strive to use online learning, and then WhatsApp is the only application that they had at the time. Facilities used by students, most of them are using laptop, handphone, computer to present at home. So laptop and handphones, students are using them a lot. Internet connections, what's up? I cannot see this. Yeah, can you see this? Yeah, this is the platform being used. Yeah, most of them. They're using Edumu, TVRI, National Television. They're using Learning Home, Rumah Belajar, TVmu, Ruang Guru, and others. This is platform that is being used. Parent support from home. Can you see the table, Ibu Lili?
Sorry, Bapak, from my end, it's cut. It's
gratis.
What happened here? Okay.
Bawa KTP aja, kartu buku.
Bisa ditolong Icat?
Bang Naon? Langsung datang ke itu.
Ya, ini Pak.
Okay. Yeah, I think I don't need to. Yeah, the platform used, like this, and then parent support of learning. 60%. 60% of the students need to be accompanied by parents, and also of course teachers, even though it is a distance learning. 60% they still need guidance. We have to understand this is the school level, primary and secondary education. If it is at the university level, they are adults and they can work more independently. But in the case of primary education, primary and secondary education, 60% of the students, they still need to be accompanied by parents and guided by teachers. Curriculum achievement. This is the start of the pandemic. They are still optimistic that 80% can achieve full curriculum. 8% believe that they can do it, and 9% believe that they cannot do it. Yeah, but the government has already issued a decree. That there is no need to fulfill full curriculum during this emergency situation. And financial matters, particularly because Muhammadiyah are private schools. 39% they said that they will pay the administration fee. But 35% they propose not full. They propose a discount. Because why? Because they think that the children don't go to school. They stay at home. And some of the times they don't study. So then they propose to have a discount of the school payment. And this is also becoming a financial constraint, particularly for private schools. So major challenges, ladies and gentlemen, is how to achieve equitable access by minimizing the digital divide. I think we propose development of technology, information and communication infrastructure should be a priority for the government. The development of public and private collaboration to expand digital access. especially for the people who are badly affected. Yeah. Second, how to realize holistic integrative character education with an educational landscape like this. This is a challenge, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, during one seminar, for example, some of the teachers, ask about this. How can we develop students' characters if they don't see us? Yeah, if we don't see face to face. Yeah, this is a conventional way of thinking. Yeah, I think we should be innovative. Yeah, digital literacy development for educators, students, and families that therefore is important. Yeah, development of content, methods, and evaluation of digital learning that contains religious values. Yeah, local wisdom and nationalism have to be explored. So this is a learning pattern for successful students. Yeah, we have professional teacher. We have also character aspects, character building, spiritual values. Yeah, this cannot be avoided. This has to be adhered to, even though during this emergency situation, we need to build the character of the students. And the learning aspect of 4C, we should also pay attention to this: creative thinking and innovation, critical thinking and problem solving, communication and collaboration, and literacy aspects, ICT literacy aspects. This contributing to successful students, particularly now during these emergency situations. Yeah. Now the character development, ladies and gentlemen, that we come to realize that character is not just about doing the right thing in an ethical sense. It's also about doing our best work. And if that is true, then character education is not just about helping kids get along. It is about teaching them to work hard, teaching them to develop their talents and aspire to excellence in every area of endeavor. Yeah. So next, please. Character education through distance learning. This is a big question. How can we have a character education with distance education? I think I have found sources here from one book, The Phenomenon of Character Development in Distance Education course. It is very possible to have character education through distance learning. In summary, let me read this. The instructor and students perceived that the students had experienced character development in a variety of ways. First, performance, character traits, and strengths of self-discipline. So they have self-discipline, self-directness in learning, analytical and deeper approach to learning, imagination and creativity, appreciation of literature, motivation to continue their education, and self-confidence. These are the character traits, the performance character traits and strengths that can be developed through distance learning. Second, moral character traits and strengths of increasing moral desire, enhancing moral discernment, and moral courage. So this can be also developed through distance learning. Third, relational character traits and strengths of open-mindedness, sharing learning with others, improving communication with others, improving relationship. This can also be managed and nurtured with distance learning. Even though that it is students are not seeing each other offline, through online, they can have a dialogue. They can have small groups, to discuss topics as assigned by their teachers, for example. So this can also happen. And the last one is spiritual character trait and strengths of humility, faith, hope, and charity. This can also be developed. This is based on the research by Johnson and Williams in 2010, that character traits like this can be nurtured, can be developed, through distance learning. So there is no excuse anymore, that teachers cannot develop students' character because they don't meet each other. That is a conventional way of thinking. We have to face these situations, then we have to be innovative and creative, to make sure that our students get the most of their learning experience. This is an example of character education with distance learning mode. For example, we have the character traits: religious, nationalist, independent, mutual cooperation, integrity, respect, discipline, responsibility, caring, and then from Monday to to Saturday or to
Terus,
Friday,
jangan.
yeah, before the lesson, making the bed, praying, exercising at home, helping with household chores, helping to prepare breakfast, preparing for distance learning. This can be done with the help of the parents. So before the lesson starts, yeah, there are values that can be nurtured, yeah, with the role, with the function, the role of their parents, yeah. So and then during the lessons, yeah, during the lesson, distance learning activities with character education integration. For example, perform presence. Yeah, make sure that students are in the attendance list. Yeah, they have to sign. Yeah, they have to share their locations. Yeah, this is also kind of a self discipline that can be nurtured. And then praying, and then performing distance learning. Yeah, sending assignment on time, for example. This is also a kind of character traits that can be nurtured during during these emergency situations. And then after the lesson, it doesn't mean that this lesson stops. Yeah, learning still continues with the help of their parents. Daytime habitual activities, yeah, help with household chores, yeah, helping their mothers, yeah, rest and then play, do some positive activities like sports. And then afternoon habits, do independent tasks, doing exercise at home, maybe do some positive fun hobbies, and then help with household chores, helping their mother, helping their parents at home. Yeah. And then the evening habits activities, helping with household chores again. Yeah. Cleaning the house, evening worship, preparing for the next lesson with the help of their parents, and taking a break. So character education with family, interaction with family and parents, playing positive activities, developing hobbies, sports, social projects with friends or family, with due observance of health protocols indeed. Yeah? So this is an example how the challenge of character educations, can be managed, can be answered, and can be nurtured, during this pandemic, during this emergency situation of learning from home. And then we hope that after the pandemic, all of these positive activities, can be maintained and developed further to give the most benefit to our students. Thank you very much, Ms. Mary, for giving me the time. This is all my presentation. I hope that this can be beneficial for everyone. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you so much, Bapak Alpa Amir Rahman, for your presentation regarding the challenges of learning from home during the pandemic. During the presentation of Bapak Alpha, he mentioned that in Indonesia, because of this pandemic, the national exam is cancelled, and also the classes before they do it in a face-to-face, but now they do it via online and using other technologies or other platforms. Example is the using the television as well, and also as per Bapak Alpha mentioned, that because of this new normal, the students may adapt new mindset, new attitudes and behavior, and also new way of doing things. And since Bapak Alpha is also from Muhammadiyah, they do this research and respond. They gained 81% response from the students for this online learning. As we all know, it's not 100% because during this pandemic, we have many challenges to face. And also in this distance learning, Mr. Alpha also mentioned that the student and teachers may develop performance character, moral character, relational character, and also spiritual character. So again, we would like to say thank you very much, Bapak Alpha Amir Rahman, for your presentation. And now we will proceed to our next speaker. For our next speaker, she is the Director 4 of the Department of Education from the Office of International Cooperation Office, Dr. Margarita Ballesteros. So Dr. Marge, you may start your presentation. I'm sorry, Miss March, we cannot hear your voice.
Salamat pagi. Can you hear me now?
Yes po.
Yes.
Good morning, everyone, to our friends in Indonesia, to the officials of the Ministry of Education Indonesia and that of the officials of the Embassy of Indonesia. Salamat pagi, Your
Selamat
Excellencies.
pagi.
And to our honorable guest this morning from the Ministry of Education in Indonesia, and of course to our dear teachers here in the Philippines, magandang umaga and magandang buhay. So I would like to thank Ibu Lily, Dr. Nurlaili, for the invitation to share what the Philippine Department of Education is doing in terms of what I call migration from the usual face-to-face to now digital learning or online learning, or we also call the other way, blended learning. So may I request
I'm sorry, ma'am, you're muted.
who's sharing my PowerPoint, please? I'm sorry about that. I was saying most governments around the world, they have temporarily closed educational institutions in an attempt to contain the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. First slide, please. And as of yesterday evening, around the world, the COVID-19 cases have reached to like around 40,455,651 with 1,119,431 deaths, and that's around the world. In Southeast Asia or in the ASEAN, Indonesia has 365,240 cases, while the Philippines has 169,000. Why am I mentioning all of this? Because if we have to look at the number of cases that have been struck by COVID-19, let us also think how many of these cases are our teachers or our learners. We have yet to collect and to get to see the data wherein how many of these hundreds of thousands around ASEAN or millions around the world, how many teachers and how many learners have already been affected or maybe also have perished or have died. And it's an interesting part or interesting point of research because these are the bases wherein we are also some kind of to do something on how we can restructure and transform our education systems at the same time our education delivery. As per UNESCO Institute of Statistics as of last night, there are 562 million and 30,000 plus affected learners by the pandemic and 33 countrywide closures. So you can imagine how affected our schools are and also our learners. And I believe you are going the same thing, you're going through the same experience in Indonesia, same as ours here in the Philippines. Off to the second slide, please.
Uang 15.000 punya siapa? Beli galon? Emang cukup?
14.000 kan?
I'm so sorry, Miss March, you're mute.
Pakai roda ya?
Masuk. Pulang 1.000 buat ayah.
Third slide, please. Thank you, Manette. First is the availability of devices which is a limiting factor for or of technology-based approaches to learning. Second is access to reliable and stable internet connectivity still remain a challenge with this new normal. Third is teachers need to be trained, they need to be retooled on using technology as an alternative mode of learning delivery. Fourth is an early grade levels need to be closely supervised by parents in the use of technology as they do their learning tasks at home. Fifth is senior high school vocational tracks or our TVET have classes that require hands-on sessions, and it was also mentioned by our colleague from Indonesia earlier in laboratories that may not be applicable for home-based approaches even with technology. And last is the distribution of learning modules to students located in far-flung areas. All these things that are mentioned is actually remained as challenges as we are adapting and migrating into this what we call the new normal. We have heard the sharing from Indonesia that they also use that of the television, the radio broadcast, online learning delivery modalities, and all of those things we know for a fact that we're also doing it here in the Philippines. Next slide, please. As of yesterday, for our national enrollment, we have around 24,822,492. And this is for Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. And for elementary, we have 11 million, almost 12 million. For high school, junior high school, we have almost 8 million. And for the alternative learning system, we have like around 403,000. And for the senior high school, almost 3 million. And for kindergarten, we have almost 2 million. Compared to that of Indonesia, wherein I think the basic education is only 40 million already, including the others. I'm sure there's less than 100 million learners, and I can imagine how humongous the challenges are. And yet, you are one of the countries who are really very privy in using technology. Friends, apologies for the background because I am here in the northern part of the Philippines, so you could hear the chickens and the dogs and the sound of nature. So apologies for that. Next slide, please. So given the fact that can you move to the next slide? Yes. For the Department of Education, in order for us to provide, next slide. Yes. In order for us to provide a clear guidance, not only to all the offices, but for all the schools and community learning centers in the Philippines, the Department of Education, with the learners, parents, and stakeholders, DepEd developed what we call the Learning Continuity Plan. The slide before this slide, please. Or we call it the Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan, which is a package of the education interventions that will respond to basic ed challenges brought about by COVID-19. And in developing this BELCP, DepEd engaged external stakeholders for inputs for its design for the learning delivery strategy and its operational direction that ensures health, safety, and well-being of learners, teachers, non-teaching personnel of the Department of Education, which this is actually available online, and you can search a DepEd order number 12 series of 2020. And what are the principles behind the learning continuity plan? I understand Dr. Marco Medoranda here will walk us through how the LCP later on has been implemented and or is being implemented, because Marco is one of those who actually was on the ground and tried to dissect how it is going to be implemented at the local level. So first is the protection for our learners and teachers on their health, safety, and well-being. Second is the DepEd ensured of the learning continuity. Our secretary has been saying its own mantra, our own DepEd mantra, that learning must continue and that learning should never stop, no matter what kind of pandemic or what kind of calamity comes along. Next is the facilitation of the safe return of learners and teachers to school when face-to-face classes will already be allowed, and that is already a table for discussion. Next is to be sensitive for its equity considerations and concerns, and it endeavors to address the best as we can. And fifth is linking or bridging the basic education learning continuity plan to that of the department's pivoting to quality for the future of education, and that there's the framework of what we call sulong edukalidad and the future's thinking in education. So there are a number of things happening on the ground. Next slide, please. What are these key components of the learning continuity plan? First, there was a streamlining that took place from K to 12 curriculum to the most essential learning competencies, or we call it MELCs. Second is a consideration of the multiple learning delivery modalities with blended learning and distance learning as major options. Third is the preparation of teachers, school learners, parents, and community for multiple learning delivery modalities, wherein there were sessions also through webinars, through online platform, where parents were oriented on how to do the home-based learning. Because basically at this point in time, all over the world, the parents are the ones assuming the role of the teachers. So here in the Philippines, they would say, ang sumasahod, pardon me to be saying this in Tagalog, ang sumasahod ay ang mga guro, pero ang nagtuturo ay ang mga gulang. Meaning, the teachers are the ones receiving their salaries, but we parents are the ones teaching. So there is some kind of question on fairness, on the responsibilities, but basically, if we try to look at it, their parents, both here in the Philippines and in Indonesia, don't you think it's also high time to look at how you can best teach your children in a way you think you would want them to be? Because in the first place, the first schooling happens in the corners and in the comforts of your home. What kind of kids they are, what kind of children they are, what kind of individuals they are outside in the social world when they interact and engage is a manifestation, is a reflection of what kind of individuals they are. They were raised by their parents. So that is just one way of giving it back the responsibilities to the parents, because we keep on bugging and nagging our teachers that they should be doing this, doing that, doing this, doing that. Come on, at this time of the pandemic, I agree personally, this is the best time to see how parents do their part and how parents can really teach their kids according to how they want them to become. You want them to be good? Then be good as well as teachers, because our teachers have been doing their best and are doing their best to really deliver that kind of quality that we expect them. So we also want quality from our parents, so to speak. Next is to a requirement of the health standards in schools and workplaces. These are all considered. Fifth is on the reconfiguration of the Brigada Eskwela, Oplan Balik Eskwela, and partnerships. All of these things fall under our activities in preparation of the opening of schools. but they were also considered in the learning continuity plan, and of course, the finance part and the procurement and delivery of materials, and the monitoring, evaluation, and adjustments. And one of these things, um, aside from the key components and its principles, next slide, please, is actually what our president um, articulated in one of his speeches when he said, we must implement online learning, modular, modular learning, and TV and radio-based broadcast, which is students coming from different backgrounds can avail, and that the Department of Education will provide the printed modules for those who cannot afford online learning. That's how it is on the ground here in the Philippines. But it's just an update on the ground. There are now TV stations, radio broadcast stations that are helping the Department of Education deliver its learning materials with the use of all of these things that are mentioned earlier. So what are also the readiness components? Next slide, please. We looked at enrollment. You have seen we used to have almost 28 million, but now at least we have 24 million, almost 25. Next is on the curriculum. Of course, as I mentioned earlier, the competencies were lowered down in numbers. Then we have the blended distance learning modalities, learning resources, assessment, teacher